Black was a bad choice.
Welcome. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. The time is now 7 p.m. I'm going to call this council regular session to order. If you would all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we are going to change things up just a tiny bit. And before we jump into visitor comments, looking out here at the gallery, I'm presuming that many of you are here to talk about the side-by-side and give public comment. If you were not able to attend or watch the work session today, I want to give a recap of where we are with the side-by-side ordinance because we talked in detail about it. And then once I do that, then please still come up and give public comment, whether you're, council, I'm sure would like to hear if you're, for the ordinance or if you're against the ordinance, we want to hear from you. But I just wanted to make sure I could speak ahead of time. So if there's any questions, I might be able to answer them since we can't have back and forth dialogue during the public comment. So during the work session today, I gave an overview of the ordinance, how it came to be, which was, it was highly requested prior to me being in office. This was actually one of the #1 topics that people asked for. There's other municipalities that already have this ordinance in place. I tried to make sure that it was out on social media so that people had an opportunity to provide opinions and comments. And if you were on social media, you would see that I was active in responding and engaging in a lot of those questions and clarifying the ordinance. The ordinance had gone through several different reviews so far. It went through, so I drafted the ordinance myself, honestly, not knowing what I was doing, quite honestly. It's the first ordinance I did back in February. But then the interim chief at the time reviewed it, provided comments and feedback, and did research on whether it caused more accidents in the municipalities that had it, and or if it caused more resources for the police. It did not, according to his research. I then circulated it to Sheriff Pixley because my understanding is there is a commissioner that is interested in also having this in the county. And so I really felt like we should have his feedback. He reviewed the ordinance as well and then provided his feedback. So the revision I provided to the Joint Planning Commission, Council Joint Planning Commission, was of the revised ordinance at that time. From there, we then, I circulated it to Chief Smith, who then provided some additional feedback, and then later provided it to Lieutenant Treat, who then provided some feedback that actually I did not see that was brought up in work session today. So there were a few things that came up with the ordinance that were great points by council. One was I failed to incorporate a section in the ordinance for car seats, which is vitally important for littles out there. I'm surprised I did that now that I have a new grandchild, but here nor there, it was a good point for Council President Chilton. That's why we're up here as a group. And then there were a couple other things, more of a definition on how to since you can't, the ordinance is like not driving down Highway 30, but be able to cross Highway 30, a specification on crossing points. So people operating on the side street, but have a designation where those are. And then what was the other one, John?
There's hours of operation.
Yes. So hours of operation was another thing that came up in the ordinance. I had daylight hours, and Council President Chilton had brought up a very good point that that's really an ambiguous definition. And so one of the suggestions was here you have the headlights, right? If you're operating during the dark. So this was a great comment by, again, Council President Chilton. And then the other one.
Age.
Oh, the age. So in the ordinance, we had 18 years old, but again, Council President Chilton had some valid arguments. We had a really good conversation today, was the fact that 16-year-olds are authorized to operate vehicles and motorcycles in in the state of Oregon at the age of 16 years old. So we took these things into consideration, and as a consensus as council, we directed our city administrator, John Walsh, to go back and make those corrections and then work with legal counsel so that we can have a more solidified ordinance that will come back. And the goal is to have that final draft the second week in January. So they have enough time to go through the legal stuff. And with the holidays, quite honestly, we only have one more meeting before then, so it's not going to get done. And then council will vote on the final resolution, or the final ordinance. From there, then council will then define what the fees are, and that will be in a subsequent meeting. General Counsel Ashley, have I failed to explain anything to do with the ordinance and the discussion and reflection of work session?
That all sounded good to me, so
Okay,
nicely done.
okay. So hopefully everybody has better clarity of what we discussed today and how the ordinance, hopefully everybody that's here that's going to talk had an opportunity to review it and listen to the council or the work session. If you haven't, then, please go back and listen to it, because it does go through a lot of different points, like arguments that have come up. Well, they're, side by side being on the road in an SUV, somebody could get hurt. And, I pointed out that a motorcycle could also get hurt. They have less visibility than a side by side. Also, they're street legal. They have to be street legal. So please go back and listen to it if you have any additional questions. But from there, we would still like to hear from you if you have an opinion either way on the side-by-side ordinance, because that will help council as we go forward as well. So, thumbs up. Okay, so now we will get into visitor comment. So now is the time for visitor comments. The visitor comment is an essential part of the local government meetings. Please address your comments to the mayor and council members. The city council will take all input into consideration. Please limit your share to 3 minutes or less. In observant to Oregon open meeting laws, this isn't a time for dialogue, but rather a time for us to listen to you. Responses for visitors' comment, if needed, will be published in the next city council regular session packet. Please provide contact information on the sign-in sheet in the back of the room in case they need to clarify any information with you. And when you come up, if you could please state your name for the record. So with that, we'll take the first public comment.
Bench.
Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nick Flory, St. Helens resident. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for your hard work and dedication over this holiday season. Outside looks beautiful. Everything in the city is looking good. And I am in support of the side-by-side ordinance. I think it'd be great for our local economy, tourism, the businesses, they're all booming now that the construction's over. And it'd be a great addition to our city, leading the way as Oregon paves this path of having legalized side-by-sides. Like I said, businesses be great for parking. They don't take up as much space as cars. It's easy for folks to get around. A lot of people have a lot of money invested in them already. Some of them are the price of small sedans already. So I do agree with Mayor Jennifer that making sure that they're legalized and we have regulations there and written down is important. So headlights, seatbelts, and blinkers. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have. So I appreciate you guys hearing us, and thank you again.
Comment?
All good.
Now bring the baby up.
Sorry, he's watching Ellen, wonders why, so. Let's get you on the seat here, buddy. He loves fish, so he's gonna demand for the dam removals. There we go. You good? All right, my name's Nick. So great name, by the way. Awesome. Victory of the people in Greek, so. Yeah, I also support the side-by-side ordinance, I think. Live and let live. This is America. If I also believe in Darwinism too. So if you're gonna do something dumb in a side-by-side, you're only gonna really hurt yourself for the most part. Obviously, within reason. I think, yeah, as long as there's correct, PPE was also brought up in the ordinance from our chief of police. So making sure, or the lieutenant, making sure everyone's wearing a helmet when it comes to that. good way to generate revenue. I know there's a Ranger outside right now, side by side, that costs over 40 grand. So I don't, people, you know, if they're gonna have a lot of money built into it, they're probably gonna drive it pretty, hopefully responsibly. I also agree with 18 years old. The amount of brain maturity from 16 to 18 is pretty, you know, astronomical. I'm still developing my brain. I'm 33 years old, but I know when you're in a side by side and I'm in the dunes, I'm feeling a little bit more ballsy. Want to go a little speed a little bit more. So if you have a little bit more age, then I think it's fine. Also see your side of it too, Jessica. You know, you're 16, you can operate a 4,000-pound vehicle with just a regular license. But you know, if it's one sacrifice, I guess, you know, to get the thing passed, more people on board, I'm for it. Heard people say, what about airbags? Well, motorcycles don't have airbags. Bicycles don't have airbags. Mopeds don't have airbags. Those are more of a risk than a side by side. Definitely make sure you have anchor points for baby seats. I'd never probably ride a side by side with my kiddo, but hey, teach their own. I'm not going to tell someone how to raise their kid as long as they don't tell me what to do with mine. But yeah, and I think it's a good revenue generator too, because you know, you got some side by sides that can get, you know, in the high 70s and 80s, so they can probably afford to pay for that licensing and stuff like that. And then you got some that are $2,000, and it's a good way to get around town, cheaper than gas. That's really all I have to say about it. I'd say pass it. And I know we have a lot bigger issues to worry about, so hopefully we can get this knocked out sooner rather than later, so we can focus on the bigger things, like the boat, which I'm not going to talk to you about. Don't worry. I'm sure you got a lot of stuff to worry about, but yeah, I support it. So that's all. You done being cute? Nope, never.
So cute.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. See, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. He wants to hang out with us.
Free the fish. 3 minutes. Back.
We love it when you bring him in.
So does my wife. Yeah. Come on, buddy. All right, thank you. Have a great night.
All right, next comment.
Hi, my name is Keith Despain, and I have a selfish reason for being here. I fully support this. This is my business. This is what I do all the time. I was one of the co-owners of Columbia River Motorsports. Here to say that we can do everything that's needed to support the community in terms of making sure that these are street legal. We find that as we service other cities throughout Columbia County and into Washington as well, many of them are moving to allow side by sides. And we've been doing quite a bit of work to modify these vehicles. I think you've already addressed a lot of the concerns that people have around what's going to happen on the streets, but making sure that you set good guidelines, making them street legal is something that would be a hard requirement. And I think that as I see other cities, other places in the county addressing that, that it really helps with not only the very urban community that we support, whether it's farmers, whether it's people who have a little bit of difficulty of getting their vehicles that they enjoy for recreation to the gas station. They need a way to be able to do that. If they don't have trailers, then you have a lot of difficulty with that. And so we want to make sure that one, we're expressing our opinion as a business, but also myself as an owner of some of these vehicles, that we do it the right way. And we appreciate the city council, the mayor, everything that you're doing to make sure that we protect each other. Safety is always a big concern when we deal with a lot of different people getting involved in these vehicles. Look forward to helping out wherever we can and supporting as needed. And I'm grateful for many of my customers behind me that are here. Thank you.
Comment.
You guys are pretty much, well, I'm Jeff McDaniels anyways. Nice to meet you all. Never been city council meeting. It's the first time. I own Fireline Off-Road. I don't deal with a lot of public. I do more emergency apparatus stuff these days. And as you can probably understand, you guys have all done your homework, so you guys know what's going on here with these things. They're great. I think everybody should vote on this and have this working the way that it should be working. And I really ain't got nothing to say because you guys already pinpointed everything out. So, I mean, everything that I had a question of, like the 16-year-old, and most of those rules that you guys have, that you're looking at there, You're already required to have all that. If you're at the dunes, you're in the woods. There's ATV permits that kids have to have, actually adults have to have also. Yeah, so, I mean, you guys pretty much pinpointed it all out. So, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking right now. So, yeah. Where else you get up there and get embarrassed?
I know.
Drill.
I'm love seeing all these people.
I'm Phyllis Rice. I guess I'm speaking for the handicap of our society. Mark has used his ATV now for 3 years. This is his second one. It has allowed him to have a sense of freedom that he would otherwise not have. There are a lot of people that we've come across in our daily lives that are basically housebound until they can find someone else can give them a lift someplace. That this would be just a life changer for them. Do they have license plates on them? Are we dealing with like DMV? That's something where, when you said a moneymaker, that was where my first thought went is.
We can't really, it's not time for like.
Yes.
No, that's not the case. If he would be for the city of St. Helens.
That's right, that's fine, perfect.
I want us to.
Just fewer things that we have better, but I think this is just an amazing feature. We're about the only state that doesn't do it anymore, or yet. So, I appreciate your time and let's think about those we can. Thank you.
My name's Jim Jackson. I'm a 35-year resident of St. Helens. I wanted to say, first of all, thank you very much, Mayor and the council, for this progressive approach. To me, that means the most of this outcome of this hearing, of this allowance for the ordinance. It helps put a fresh face on the city of St. Helens right now, which some of you might appreciate. I know that you all have done your diligence. We've covered safety correctly. I've looked at the ordinance. I just want to say thank you with the risk of being redundant to all the other comments here. I feel the same way, but thank you. Safety has been addressed, I think, appropriately. The liability insurance, liability for the city, for individual drivers, et cetera, has been covered well. I just think this is a home run. And I think enforcement obviously has been agreed upon in hand. And I would also suggest that I'm kind of one of those guys that if I see somebody doing something that I don't care for, jeopardizing my privilege, I likely will help stop those kind of things. So for those people out there that are really afraid of this, it's going on everywhere. We're just kind of on the outside of that box. So thank you again for being progressive. One last thing I wanted to suggest is that if this grows to be good for the county, city, I'd like to see a side-by-side club that I'd be glad to help get involved with. I know that the city has property on the outskirts of town that could even be changed into an ORV site with proper permitting, erosion control, et cetera. So I see nothing but the ability to grow by this. And I, again, thank you very much. I'm a side-by-side owner and I'd love to be able to leave my big diesel at home for a trip to the grocery store. So thank you.
Next comment.
Brady Freeline. This was from Dave Peabody, who was also in the Hutch episode. I think the whole justice for Sarah Zuber, I'm not saying the cause isn't legit. I'm saying the motivation behind the cause, I don't believe was pure. And I think they were used in something else. I think you don't benefit or use someone else's tragedy that way. I'm not getting emotional about this. I don't think that that's not what we do. I think that's wrong. My feeling is this was politically motivated. And I think they're paying the price for that. And I don't like it. I don't like it either. And of course, everyone involved in this or has talked about it as a liar, but you, right? That's your feeling. All these other people are making up stories, but not you. I know firsthand that when you're challenged, you lie. That's what you do. And I've seen it firsthand. And it's not acceptable. And again, you ran on transparency. Release the full band's report, send it out. There's no reason it should be redacted, and you will lose that battle eventually. You're costing the city and our taxpayers money by continuing to defend it in court and try and keep it hidden. If there's nothing there, except of course, according to OPB, that you lied about it multiple times to them, release it. Take your hits, release it. I do want to say, I also am opposed to the side-by-side ordinance. I think it's frankly the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. We don't license by city. It should be a state regulation. If they're gonna do this, get a petition together, go see your state lawmaker, license it by city. We're gonna have, why don't we license cars by city? To me, it's a ridiculous idea that we're gonna have licenses by each individual city. So if you're here, you're gonna have to have one license, and if you drive it to Rainier, you're gonna have to have a separate license. It doesn't even make any sense to me. It should be done by the state, should be done statewide. And those, I frankly don't have a problem with the issue of licensing them. I just think it's not a city function, it's a state function.
Hey, next comment. Oh, that was fun.
Rob Hamilton, resident of St. Helens.
There.
I just want to clarify, you guys
Quiet.
are going after 18-year-olds to drive or 16? Or side by side? Is it,
To be determined.
okay, because I would
Sorry.
vote for 18. There's proof that 16-year-olds aren't ready for it because if you go to Furlock Park Street, Gable Road, see the evidence, all right? It's like 30 feet long and probably 10,000 miles worth of tire. And that's what I get regularly living out there, high school times. I get it, I was there. But 18 is a little more responsible. Plus they probably bought a set of tires or two and they respect them a little bit more. So that's all I really got to say about them. I'm neutral. I wouldn't buy one because I can't afford to crash it.
Sorry, sir, I did not get your name.
Rob Hamilton. Anyway, that's all I got.
Thank you. All right, next comment.
Adam St. Pierre, first of all, I just want to, people that haven't been to one of these council meetings before paid that close of attention. What we just had was a cast of characters who caused a lot of problem in the city with false accusations, and 95% of the stuff they say becomes unsubstantiated and, baseless, stuff to get attention for themselves. Secondly, I'm going to kind of go against the rest of the room here. I don't necessarily agree with the side-by-side ordinance. I'm gonna want to have to buy one then. So I kind of want to go against it because it's going to cost me money. That being said, I know that Jennifer was working on this back in February, and I'd never paid any attention before when I'd gone to Vegas or when I'd gone to, Phoenix or something like that. But I did pay attention when I went to Moab. There's a whole tourism industry based around side-by-side rentals in Moab. There's an opportunity here, whether they want to pursue it or not, I don't know. I just happened to notice that there was more side-by-sides on the road than there was vehicles. And I happened to ask an officer, how many accidents he had. He said nothing more substantiated or different than anything else. That's my factual basis. I have nothing to base that on other than one single conversation, but I know they were everywhere in Moab. And I was really jealous I didn't have one. So, but yeah, I have no pro or con for it, other than the fact that I may end up having to visit our buddy here and buy one if this ordinance passes. So thanks, you guys.
Too bad, right? Next comment. I'm back. My first time.
My name's Melissa Warner. And I agree with most of the people that have already spoken. As somebody who owns a motorcycle and a side-by-side, if you're only gonna be able to ride the side by side in town and not even really on Highway 30, you're not going very fast. The people that have the side by sides put a ton of money into it. Almost as much as the motorcycle. The motorcycle doesn't even have probably some of the safety features that the side by side has. It has the roll cage, the all the things. And then you're adding turn signals and so forth, so you can drive it in town. I'm for this. I think it'd be great. I know other towns that have passed this, and it's common. It's what's everybody's doing. It's enjoyable, and even I think that you won't find as many accidents as some people think that you will, because it's gonna be new. They're gonna be looking out for these side by sides, and a lot of them have lights and whips and whatever, so they'll be noticeable. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm for it.
Anybody else have any comment? Anybody else online?
Can I just say one more thing?
Well,
There's a gentleman we all know by the name of Griff who drives around in the local area. Many of you know him. He's the success story that you mentioned earlier. He's a gentleman that I won't pass on about his difficulties in life.
so Jim,
I met him. Is it you?
Jim, I really appreciate this, and I don't want to interrupt you, but this could be a runaway train because we do have some people in this audience that have challenges sometimes. And so I get what you're saying as far as, I think many of us know who Griff is. So I appreciate that. And there's a valid point on disabled citizens and being able to utilize these as resources. So I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to keep this on the rails.
Understood.
Thank you. Chief Smith, do you have anything that you wanted to add to anything on a comment, or Lieutenant Treat? Please. No. I'm gonna give you an opportunity before we move on.
Lieutenant Treat and I just wanted to make sure you were aware when we're crafting language, we want to make certain that there are some restrictions on driving on Highway 30. At the same time, people who are driving a side by side can make it from one side of the city to the other, i.e. getting to Safeway, getting to the stores. We don't want the language to be overly restricted. And I will try to email you, Madam Mayor, in the next couple of days with some language ideas that Lieutenant Treat and I have for that.
City Administrator, please. You can
City
copy me,
Administrator,
yes, but to him and then copy me. So, Lieutenant Treat, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
No.
Okay. We certainly appreciate all of you showing up and giving public comment, especially those that have never been here before. You guys are the voices of the city. You guys are all the reasons that we're sitting up here today. So we speak on behalf of you. This was a very loud, unified voice that I heard early on before I was ever elected. And I personally am honored, even though this was not something that I found very desirable to write this ordinance, because it was a lot of research and a lot of work. But I'm certainly happy you guys are here and that you took the time to come down, and your voices and the things that you have said, either pro or against, or the feedback is definitely valued. So hopefully you'll come to more council meetings with other things that are on the agenda besides the side by side, but we certainly appreciate seeing all your faces in the gallery. And then the second week in February should be when we would vote on it. So you're more than welcome to come back, and you'll see me circulating it online as well once that draft's done as well. January, second week in January, sorry. Did I say December?
February.
Oh, geez. January, thank you. Yeah, pick a month. So we appreciate you guys being here. Okay, with that, we are going to move over into approve and authorize for signature. We have number one, agreement with Steve Anderson for services, technical evaluation of the local limits and updates if necessary for the wastewater treatment plant.
I move we approve and or authorize for signature, number one as read.
Discussion.
Discussion, go ahead.
I think it's more you than.
Yeah, so I appreciate that opportunity. So my discussion just comes from my meeting or my comments earlier today. You know, this is an individual on here, an independent contractor. In the future, I think as general counsel has stated, it's a good opportunity for the city to improve and enhance the nomenclature that's professional services for the items that I had mentioned earlier today that I think personally should be in there. And so I'm going to follow up with that to an email, and when we start working on the other administrative functions and changing like contracts and RFPs, this is something we can approve on. I feel more comfortable voting for Mr. Steve Anderson for the fact that he did work for us in 2004 and 2017 without having Aaron here today to basically validate him and what he does professionally and what he has for the city and his knowledge. You know, I personally feel more comfortable with that. Aaron has been here a long time. He is, you know, obviously his knowledge base. So I think that I'm pretty square on that. Does anybody have any additional discussion on Mr. Steve Anderson and his professional service agreement?
It's pretty lengthy about what the city, you know, there's just the details involved that you mentioned. And also, sort of, well, I don't know, it's maybe a maximum not to exceed or something like that just stated.
Yeah, I think, so there was several language, and I don't think that we need to hammer it out for purposes of today. But it was, again, like when we're seeing this in the future, I'd like to see resumes. I'd like to see like confirmations for, in this case, that he would meet the qualified person for the DEQ requirements. A list of prior projects for those of us who haven't been on council and don't know, deliverable dates and deadlines and contingency plans if in fact the DEQ rejects this or any other entity, guarantee revision, support, like if we have to go back for revision, the support there, the capped hours for revising, and then making sure that there's no conflict of interest disclosures as well. So those are just some of the
You
things.
got it covered, that's
I
great.
have it covered. I'm going to frame an email for council and city administrator to have those concerns. So I think I'm good with where we're at currently. So we have a motion, we have a second. Counselor Sundin.
Aye.
Council President Jones. Aye. Counselor Hubbard. Counselor Gunderson. I'm an aye as well. Mr. Steve Anderson gets the agreement. Okay. Number 2, amendment number 1 of agreement with Keller Williams Sunset Corridor Lower Columbia Group for Realtor Services, extension of agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve and or authorize for signature, line item 2, amendment number 1 of agreement with Keller Williams Sunset Corridor Lower Columbia Group for Realtor Services extension of agreement.
Second that.
We have a motion, second, Counselor Sundin, Council President Chilton, Counselor Hubbard, Counselor Gunderson, and I as well. We have number 3, we have consent agenda for acceptance, library board minutes dated October 13th, 2025.
Make a motion to accept the library board minutes for October 13th.
Second.
We have a motion, second, Counselor Sundin.
Aye.
Council President Chilton. Aye. Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
And I as well. We have consent agenda for approval, number 4 and number 5. So number 4 is city council minutes dated November 5th and 14th, 2025, as well as number 5, accounts payable bill list.
Motion to approve line items 4 and 5 is read.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, second, Counselor Sundin.
Aye.
Council President Chilton. Aye. Counselor Hubbard.
Aye.
Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
And I as well. And that brings us to work session items. So we have 2 items. Or we have one, we have the leak adjustment.
Well, and then the frequency of
Yeah.
joint council boards and commissions meetings, but do we need to make a motion for that?
What is it?
You could adjust it by consensus, or you could make a motion, make it more formal. It's whatever you prefer.
What would you prefer, Council President?
I don't want to make 2 motions.
Okay, let's do motions and then will somebody make the motion, one of the motions?
Second.
Okay. So the first motion,
There's a leak adjustment request that came in from River Street Yachts Landing. It sounds like they found the cause of the leak and it took quite a while to figure that out. But they finally did find the cause of the leak and fix it and hopefully have a plan to mitigate it for future leaks where they can catch it earlier. But with that said, the motion is I move to approve the request for a leak adjustment at 196 South River Street in the amount of $3,873.83.
Which one you got it? Hubbard got it. Okay, so we have a motion second, Counselor Sundin. Council President Chilton. Aye. Counselor Hubbard. Counselor Gunderson, and I am an aye as well.
All right, I move to schedule the joint meetings between the council and boards and commissions twice per year, beginning in 2026.
Second.
We have a motion second, Counselor Sundin.
Aye.
Council President Chilton.
Aye.
Counselor Hubbard. Counselor Gunderson.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. All right, we're cruising. So that takes us into council member reports. Do we have a history lesson today?
Sure.
All right.
So, earlier today, we mentioned the city property on the bluff for sale. So if you ever been up there, you go up 10th Street and it's a rocky, big bluff and not asking for discussion, but maybe show of hands, how many of you have heard of Jackass Canyon before? If you've been around here a number of years, likely you've heard of Jackass Canyon. So many years ago, starting in the 1930s, I believe, a man by the name of Joe Watson lived up on top of that bluff. And kind of a hermit, he lived in these little barns and shacks and kept to himself. But even into the 50s and 60s, when people were driving cars around town, Joe raised donkeys and would ride his donkey around town. So if you've ever heard that name, Jackass Canyon, that's where that came from. And he was affectionately known to many as Jackass Joe. And so that's where he lived and raised his donkeys and ended up in the state hospital and passed away there. But it's kind of a fun story about where that name comes from.
Wondered about that name.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
And the only other thing I had is there will be an opening on the Parks Commission soon. So if you know anybody that's passionate about parks and would like to contribute, please let them know.
I don't have anything to report.
Bazaar coming up.
Oh yeah, I should probably throw that out there. Bazaar at Avamere, December 13th. I'll be running it. Lots of fun items. 9 to 3.
Thank you. All right, Counselor Hubbard.
The police station site is all cleaned up, ready for the final paperwork and the contractor to get to work.
Writing. Thank you so much for being a liaison on that as well.
Don't have anything?
You don't have any. All right. Okay, so I just only have a few things today. As always, thank you to Kathy and Lisa for keeping us on track and making sure that we have all our documents, and it's a lot of work and people don't realize what they do here. They wear a lot of hats and appreciate it. Also, all of the city staff as well. And then I just, again, I don't want to gonna dive into the cast of characters today, use negativity, but I'm not going to. I think that's enough, just saying that alone. But I do want to just re-echo the fact that having as many people in the audience today in the gallery for something that I personally don't have a passion for, like I don't have a desire, honestly, to drive a side by side. But the fact that we have so many citizens and you have allowed us to use our voices and efforts to achieve a lot of the goals and desires of the citizens, this is exactly why I wanted to run for office. And I think it's a huge honor and a privilege to have you guys come in and engage. This is what it's about, engagement. I'd love to see more of that for a lot of the different aspects related to the city and the buildings and designs. And it's just really refreshing to hear, people have, positive things and then people have negative, but the way that we can converse and people can provide those opinions in such a constructive and positive way. I mean, this is what community is about to me, and people being able to share their voices in such a constructive way. And I'm going to be very excited to see this ordinance be off my plate personally come the second week in February. And
January.
Gosh, why am I stuck on February?
To give us a lot of time.
I know, not that much time. January, I don't know why I'm so focused on February.
Skipping January.
Yeah, I'm skipping January. I don't want that year to go fast. But anyway, I won't belabor it, but I really appreciate everybody that's been here and communicated online. And that's the other thing. It's like, sometimes I think that as elected officials, we're out there, we're talking and engaging, and You know, there's like a premise that when you get elected, that you should just not engage really like online and communicate with people anymore. And I'm just never going to prescribe to that. I'm just never going to. I will continue to engage and have dialogue and communicate with people the very best that I can to provide answers. And I will do that. And the hard part about public comment is you can't have that conversation. So if anybody ever wants to have a conversation with me about something that comes up, please communicate with me because, or any of the council, it's what we're here for. You know, so anyway, that is all